Broussard, we're talking Lakers. When Anthony Davis was officially introduced on Saturday, people thought the toughest decision moving forward was going to be deciding which jersey number to wear. But a new concern might be brewing: where to play the six-time All-Star. Listed as a center, AD might have a different preference in Los Angeles.
I like playing the four. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I like playing the four. I don't really like playing the five. But if it comes down to it, Coach, and you need me to play the five, then I'll play the five. But like I said, it's the game has become so positionless that, you know, you can put five guys on the floor and then they just play. You know, obviously you guys seen the thing that came out about LJ running a point. Super tall, you know, it's a super tall point guard. So you never, it really doesn't matter. You know, just put five guys out there that fits best with each other and go out there and win.
I love it. It's positionless, and it really doesn't matter. That being said, I'm not playing the five. Right. Just I want to make sure everybody knows that. Broussard, would it be a mistake not to play AD at the center position?
Yes, of course. I mean, he's going to have to play some center. Now, it's nice to have Boogie Cousins there to face Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid and, you know, some of these bigger, lumbering centers that are on the block. And that's what AD really doesn't want to do. But he hit it on the head. Look, a lot of times it's going to be essentially positionless. And against many teams, if not most, he can and should play center. Houston with Capella, he can play center. Golden State when they go small. Or even if they have Willie Cauley-Stein or whoever in center. He can play center. Yeah, so it will be, one, to match up with what the opponent does, but two, because it's an advantage for the Lakers. He's a 7-footer, so if they go small, you still have a 7-footer who can protect the rim, who can also be your center. And I think, look, I think it's possible if LeBron is at point that their starting lineup could be LeBron James, Avery Bradley, Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, and Anthony Davis.
Yes.
Which would put Davis at the center. That's the lineup Magic mentioned as the finishing lineup.
That's their best lineup, but that's, listen, I've been told repeatedly, because that's the exact lineup that I presented as well, and it was right before Magic put it out there. That's not how they're going to start games because of this. Because Anthony Davis does not want to be listed as the center, does not want to start games as the center. Now, I agree with you. In today's NBA, the reason he's so devastating when he plays center is you have no good options defending him.
Right.
If you put someone that, because he is so good on the perimeter, these highlights are him facing up 15 feet from the basket, big men can't guard him out there. So if you put someone on him that can guard him out there, he's going to be 5 inches taller than them, and then he can go down on the block and kill him. But that's not how he wants to play the majority of his minutes. It is, to me, the best Lakers lineup. And the other problem they run into is this. If they start a center, LeBron will start, obviously. Anthony Davis will start. Center X will start.
Probably Boogie Cousins.
Right. So, okay, so call it Boogie. And then Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma would be your next two best guys. Who guards point guards? Danny Green, when he's your best wing defender, like all of a sudden you start having real questions about what the lineup will look like. I think Magic was correct. That will be the closing lineup with Avery Bradley being the only question mark, depending on his health.
He can guard the point guards.
Well, that's absolutely, which is why that could be your starting lineup, but not if you also have to start a center. And the other thing that starting a center is going to mean is less minutes where LeBron is on the court surrounded by shooters. LeBron's going to start Anthony Davis in a center. Now there's only 2 spots available for shooters. Danny Green will be one of them, but Kuzma was a shooter his rookie year, not at all his second year. So that's where Frank Vogel's job immediately gets more difficult than it has to be, because this is just, I don't know if it's emotionally, physically, whatever it is, it's not what Anthony Davis wants to do.
He doesn't want to log those minutes defensively. It's not on the offensive end, it's on the defensive end. He doesn't want to guard another big center, especially if traditional, they're going to be in the low post, 15 to 20 minutes a game. And he doesn't want to be stereotyped as a center. Anthony Davis grew up in Chicago. He was a guard.
Point guard.
All right? He had a growth spurt, but he was a guard. And we have seen players for a number of different reasons, either by height. I remember the kid, Kevin Garnett. Man, how tall are you?
6'11".
Man, you're 7 feet.
6'13".
No, 6'13".
Yeah.
They came up with that.
Why?
Kevin Durant. How tall are you?
6'11".
Why? I don't know
Well,
the
for
reason.
both those guys, it was because Garnett said, I don't want to be called a center. And if you call me 7 feet, I got to play center.
Tim Duncan wasn't a center, technically, but he played like a center.
Right. So to me, I'm not concerned about it. I think Anthony Davis did the right thing. Bill Parcells said the #1 way to get your coach's attention is do what he asked you to do. And he did defer to the coach and said, if the coach asked me to play that. But we've seen this. LeBron should have been a power forward long time ago. I want him to play in the post long time ago. He wouldn't. Why? Because he doesn't want to. But when he's forced to in certain games, you've seen it come out in him. I think the Lakers will be fine. You have to be able to find some shooters. Anthony Davis, when you are that type of player, and he's gone on record, this is not new to me. When they traded for him, I said, don't put him at center. He's always said he doesn't want to play center. And now we'll see how it plays out. I don't think it's going to affect their season.
What is the negative stereotype around playing center? Is it all the workload? Is it all you don't want to go up again defending bigs? Like, why do guys not want to play
stereotype? It's just viewed as, you know, you're a big, cumbersome player who doesn't have all these skills.
Have the other skills.
But he's got to get over that, because the lineup you mentioned, if Boogie's in there, and I know Boogie stretches the floor and can shoot the three, but I like Boogie better on the block. I don't really want to see him out at the three-point line taking 5 or 6 a game. So if you have Boogie Cousins, Anthony Davis, and LeBron,
court becomes small.
I mean, like if LeBron's just playing point guard, it may not be as important for him to have that open lane. But if he's playing his typical point forward, then he's going to want that lane open to penetrate and do what he does. And with that lineup, it's going to be tough.
And it is assuming that Boogie is going to be some semblance of the guy we saw at the end of the regular season and not the guy we saw post-quad injury. Now, I know he's going to be better than he was in the finals where he fought his way onto the court. And my God, it looks like he's lost 30 pounds. I mean, he looks as thin as we've ever seen him, to his credit. But if he suffers another injury, which now has to be on the board, then when you're talking about starting centers, you're back to JaVale McGee, who I know is coming off his best year, but he shouldn't be in the top 7 of your rotation if you're trying to win a title, unless you have 3 superstars, and no team has 3 superstars anymore. So it does complicate things enormously. I think the biggest upside of LeBron playing point, even if it's just in name only, is that it means Rondo doesn't start, because that's another player that would constrict the court. The biggest upside to Anthony Davis playing center is it would mean between LeBron at the point and Anthony Davis at the center, you could get 3 people out there that are threats from the three-point line.
Right.
That's not how they're going to start the games. And your starting lineup, while it doesn't have to be your closing lineup, it will be the lineup that plays the most minutes over the course of the season. So it does matter, and we'll see how the Lakers can juggle it.
All right, let's take a break. Broussard, stick around. Coming up, can Odell Beckham be the Browns' savior? That's next on First Things First.